Hi guys, Brian from Brian Boas here. Today I want to share with you one of my favorite locality boas in my collection. This is the Bolivian short-tailed boa, boa constrictor amarali. This particular subspecies of boa is a favorite among many seasoned, die-hard boa constrictor aficionados, and the longer I keep them, the more I can see why. So I'm going to go over a description of the physical characteristics of these beautiful animals, plus I'll touch on the different bloodlines available in captivity and the captive husbandry requirements. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the Brian Boas YouTube channel for more videos on all aspects of keeping and breeding boa constrictors in captivity. This is my female Bolivian boa, and she's from a bloodline called the Orange Crush bloodline, and that gives you an idea of her physical description. She has this beautiful orangish tint to her body color. But what's really unique about it, it's not just orange, there's also this purplish lavender color to her as well, especially in the right light. So just a very beautiful and unique color that I haven't seen in any other types of boa constrictors. So looking at the boa constrictor amarali, they're known also as the short-tailed boa. And if we look at her tail, you can see why. So her whole tail, which starts right here at the vent, has a total of just 3 tail saddles. 4 if you count the one at the vent. So they do indeed have a very short tail for a boa constrictor, hence the name short-tailed boa. And not just the tail is short, the overall body is the most short and stout of all the different boa constrictors. You can see she's relatively thick and short for her size. It's almost in the direction of a blood python or a ball python, although they're not quite that short and stout. But definitely different from some other boa constrictors, for example, the boa constrictor saboge, which is a very elongated form of boa constrictor. And the head is also quite short and stout. They have this kind of wide head, wide flat head. Almost looks like a pit bull in a way because it's got these big jaw muscles at the top of the head. And then the description is somewhat similar to the true red-tailed boa as far as the markings. You can see she's got these peaked saddles. Some of them have the peaked saddles. Others bloodlines are almost patternless. But the Orange Crush bloodline, which I have here, has these peaked saddles generally. The size is relatively small. The males get to be about 4 to 5 feet, the females about 5 to 6 feet, and they grow relatively slowly, although this is a 2016 animal, so this female is almost 4 years old. She was bred by a guy named Kenneth Proctor. I have my pair from him, and they're definitely one of my favorite pairs of animals in the collection. One of the great things about this particular type of boa is its personality. It may well be the most docile and handleable form of boa constrictor there is. So when I go to open their cage, she almost looks at me like she's expecting me, almost like a dog. There's almost this recognition of the keeper. In addition, you can see she's not squeezing my hand to death like some of the true red tails. She's not trying to escape like some of the other types of boas. She's just calmly exploring and, sitting in my hand. Very enjoyable boa to hold. You can see she's inquisitive, but she doesn't want to try to get away. So if you want a boa that is almost like a dog, although, I won't quite go that far, then the Bolivian boa might be for you. This is my male Bolivian boa. And this guy is from the same litter as my female. They were produced by Kenneth Proctor back in 2016. This guy, you can see his coloration is a little brighter than the female. You can see the beautiful orangey, purplish lavender color. Just gorgeous, I haven't seen this coloration in any other type of boa. You can see he's also got a little bit different shaped saddles. His saddles aren't as peaked, but they're more thin. Just a very distinctive looking boa. And then I'll show you his tail. Like the female, it's very short, just about 3 tail saddles on his tail, hence the name short-tailed boa. There were a number of shipments of Bolivian boas into the United States back in the 1980s. And a guy by the name of Joe Terry produced 4 different bloodlines of these beautiful animals. And they're named the 86, the 87, the 89, and the Silverback bloodline. 86 through 89 refer to the years that the bloodline produced its first litter. And so he crossed the 86 with the 89 bloodline, which resulted in what's known as the Orange Crush bloodline, which are the animals with this beautiful lavender orange coloration like this guy. In the wild, in addition to southeastern Bolivia, boa constrictor amarali can be found in southern Brazil and eastern Paraguay. And there are a number of bloodlines originating from South Brazil, including the Lemke, King, and the Danish bloodlines. These animals tend to have more of a grayish or silvery coloration. Some of them are kind of yellowish gray in background color. Some of the South Brazilian boas have more of a appearance like a BCC, and there's some speculation that they might be natural intergrades between boa constrictor amarali and boa constrictor constrictor. As I mentioned earlier, one of the original Joe Terry bloodlines of boa constrictor amarali is known as the Silverback bloodline, and this has been selectively bred for a beautiful silvery gray background color. And the Silverback Bolivian amarali are definitely very high on my list of animals that I would like to add to my own collection. I found the captive husbandry of the Orange Crush Bolivian boas to be fairly straightforward and similar to most of my other boas that I have in my collection. Because they're from a slightly cooler climate than some other types of boas like the true red-tailed boas, they're not quite as finicky about the temperature requirements, and they can tolerate slightly cooler temperatures. One thing that I will stress, however, is it's very important not to overfeed these animals because they're slow growing and they don't reach huge sizes as adults. I would recommend as babies to about age 2 that they be fed no more often than every 2 weeks. From age 2 through sexual maturity, like this animal, I would recommend feeding about every 3 weeks. And then adults, I would recommend feeding about once a month, except during the cooling season when they don't feed at all. And this particular animal is eating medium-sized rats about every 3 weeks. These animals may be ready to pair up next year and produce babies in 2021, but more likely I'll pair them up for the first time in 2022. To recap, the Orange Crush Bolivian boa constrictor amarali is a beautiful locality of boa with a very laid-back disposition. If you're looking for something unique to add to your locality boa collection, this might be just the snake for you. They are relatively uncommon, but there are a dedicated number of breeders working with this form of boa. So if you pay attention to the market, some babies should be available eventually. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. You can also comment below. If you liked the video, please be sure to subscribe to the Brian Boas YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you for your attention and enjoy your boas.